So it's Ireland against New Zealand. This game has the look of just being an absolute cracker on paper. It's number 2 who are at home against number 1 in the world. Apart from a couple of players being out, they're two pretty strong teams who are going to go head-to-head here over in Dublin. There's a bit of history between the sides. Ireland hadn't beaten the All Blacks for most of their history until relatively recently. But one of their wins, their one and only win, does come within the last 5 games. So a lot of guys who are playing in this team have beaten the All Blacks before. So I think mentally that will give them a bit of a boost going forward. Of those last 5 games, as I said, New Zealand 4, Ireland 1. Average score has been New Zealand 31, Ireland 18. So it has been pretty lopsided, but included in there is that one game where Ireland got beaten 60-0 over in New Zealand, and that was preceded by a week where New Zealand only won by 3 points, and followed by a game where New Zealand only won by 2 points. So there have been some pretty close games between these two teams, and obviously Ireland getting that 40 points to 29 win over in Chicago. So there's a lot to play for both these teams. Both the coaches are kind of building up to it, saying how important a game it is. A little bit of mind games going on between the two sets of coaches. I think Foster was putting out some barbs about Bundee, and Schmidt kind of came back and just cut him down for mentioning it. So, I think both these sides are looking to win pretty desperately. I will put the teams in the description so you can have a look. But it's a relatively stable side for Ireland, but there are a few changes. Rory Best still at number 2, which is kind of not surprising, although their line-out wasn't the best last week. But in saying that, Devin Toner is starting in the second row. He's with James Ryan, so one would assume that is largely to secure more line-out ball, because Toner last week against Argentina really added some stability to that line-out. Ringrose and Aki are in the midfield. Inside Sexton is Kieran Marmion, so he's fit after kind of rolling his ankle in that Argentina game, so he is available. Interestingly though, Rob Kearney is back and he is at 15. You got to think he's going to bring a large kind of part to the stability of that back three. He is just such a reliable player, and I guess that's the job that Joe Schmidt has got him doing here, because I think it's his first game for November, so hopefully he's 100% fit. I wouldn't have thought he would have picked him unless he was. On the bench, guys like Josh van der Flier, he comes in because Sean O'Brien got injured in that last game. Dan Leavy starts on open side, and he looked really good when he came on last week, so that's kind of no loss there. Carbery's on the bench. Jordan Larmour's on the bench. It's a pretty strong looking side. The All Blacks, on the other hand, are pretty settled in their lineup. Only the one change, and Sonny Bill is out because he is injured. Ryan Crotty comes in, and kind of like Leavy coming on, impacting that game for Ireland. Crotty's impact for New Zealand kind of can't be understated in that victory over England. So, if anything, you'd have to say that's an improvement based on current form. So it's a pretty strong looking All Blacks team. Damian McKenzie is still at 15. Rieko Ioane on the left wing. Steve Hansen's expecting him to be fielding a fair bit of high ball, because with Ben Smith on the right wing, he's pretty comfortable, but Rieko's perhaps a little bit more susceptible to targeting in that area. Front row, Tuina Kwafe, Taylor and Franks is pretty solid looking as well. For this one, the bookies have got the All Blacks by 5 points, so they are ever so slightly the favourites. And I checked the Irish bookies and the New Zealand bookies. They're pretty much agreed. 5.5, 6 points. So between 5 and 6 is what they are saying in terms of how this one's going to go. It should be massive. I'm very looking forward to it. I can't remember the last time I've looked forward to a game quite this much. But it should be a cracker. You guys let me know your thoughts on the squads. As I said, they're in the description so you can have a look. How do you think this game is going to go? Where do you think both teams will do well? Any areas you think they will struggle? And about the selections, how do you think both kind of coaches have gone with their choices? Yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts, and talk to you again soon. See you later.